This channel is the logbook of my curious life. No artificial intelligence was used to corrupt my story. I share my thoughts, my emotions, and my own life experience. My statements don't represent universal truth. They only reflect my own perception of life. Listen carefully, think critically, react accordingly. Welcome to the Unknown Traveler Experience. I wonder if they are not human, or maybe it's me who is not human. How to navigate a world where malice and division reign supreme over kindness and unity? How can history repeat itself endlessly, while having all the past knowledge to avoid those same mistakes? How can an evolved species capable of self-reflection and change still fight over territory and resources like primitive beings in the name of progress? I searched for so long a meaning for human existence. I only found and created problems without any solutions to them, and I completely lost my faith in humans. I searched for so long a meaning for my life that I lost my own self in my mind. I lost my peace and the joy of being alive. Is it foolish to believe this world is an open-air hell? That it is up to us to create our own paradise, blindfolding ourselves until we are numb enough to smile? Am I naive to think this life cannot be real? That such a beautifully poisoned gift could not be anything more than a test? That all my dreams, my greatest desires for peace, happiness, unity, and support will only manifest when I am no longer here, when I can't breathe anymore? How can we share and spread love and peace in a world built exclusively on ideas of hatred and war? I searched for a solution for decades without finding a single one, except that humans love, support, and sustain these ideas. Consciously or not, we are conditioned from birth to keep this will alive until it slowly disappears with us in death. We are prisoners of war we never chose. We fight every single day against others. We are even at war against our own selves during our entire life. Is my conscience a luxury I shouldn't worry about? Or are we simply cursed by the remorse of being at the top of the chain? If we were prey to something other than ourselves, humans, would remorse and regret even exist? I don't expect an answer because, deep down, I already know it. I just refuse to accept it. It feels like life has an inherently contradictory and paradoxical nature, like my own mind. I guess it's time to accept that the balance of the world may be about chaos, negativity, and disorder. Good and order might only exist in the human mind as a way to structure our experience of life, a way of helping us to survive and socially bond with others. Maybe the current world doesn't have a problem nor a solution to find, like a mystery. Maybe the disease, the cancer of this current world, is not chaos and negativity, but order and positivity. And then, from a certain perspective, I am the gangrene seeking to consume this world like a cancer. I wonder if human consciousness is responsible for all this suffering, or simply knowledge, because if so, I truly miss my ignorance. Do you call this living? I fake my own life for others. Because I was different, I was special. And when you are different from others, you can either be admired or rejected. You know humans can be really gentle or evil when it comes to difference. So, when I was young, I needed to pick a side, being the harassed kid, the bully, the follower, the introverted isolated from others, or the cool one with lots of friends. And I guess I chose the cool kid. It was fun, but now I regret the consequences. The wounds it left me are still present, and only time can heal them. I always had this great social awareness, this pattern recognition and out-of-the-box thinking that helped me survive life. I wasn't even a teenager when I was already deeply learning psychological concepts. I had a deep need to understand humans because I wanted to be understood. Most kids were hanging out outside, while I was learning science, astrophysics, and mathematical concepts. In my environment, people hated knowledge because it had the power to make them feel less important, as if it would steal the attention they were seeking. So growing up, I learned to keep my hobbies and inner thoughts secret. But it was too late. I had already drowned in the anxiety of knowing society's and humanity's flaws. That's when I decided to choose. Since I couldn't be myself around growing teenagers, I created a persona of what my life could be if I changed my identity. And I had a lot of fun impersonating this cool guy. Because I was appreciated, I had influence, and was always trusted on many subjects because of my experience. I was giving life advice and was feeling useful to other people. I could express myself with light-hearted joke, and people were listening to me. It gave me joy. But deep inside, the unease was growing bigger and bigger throughout all my teenager's years, until, eventually, at the end of high school, I started to drown. From toxic relationships to alcohol and substance abuse, coupled with sad music, I didn't even realize I was trying to end my life through the slow suicide of the body. When the mind is collapsing, fueled by our inner desire, the only choice the spirit has to send a warning that something is wrong in our life is through our own body. The body and physical ability decaying are things we can't ignore indefinitely. But I was so deep in my habits, I didn't receive the message properly. My life started to feel like a slow self-destruction, and instead of reacting, I found real pleasure inside this low state of mind. I started to like depression and that pessimistic, nihilistic view of life. I even found comfort and security in the darkness and cold apathy presented to me, so much it became my home, my safe place. I had completely lost my joy, all my love, and my inner peace like it had never existed in my life. My brain completely rewired itself and crashed out. I was too deep in this fake life, completely disconnected from my soul. I had completely lost myself. The only way my soul could whisper me to wake up was through my own body, the only thing I could still see and feel every day. I remember one day, after a party, coming home and seeing myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself. I just stared into my own eyes for like an hour, in complete silence. Tears gradually filled my eyes before slowly falling down my cheek. I felt cold, like a lifeless body. I couldn't even talk or look away from the mirror. I was alarmed at the danger of the situation I had put myself into. The first word I said out loud was sorry. I was apologizing to myself for living this life because that wasn't who I used to be. I had flashbacks of happy moments as a kid and remembered that I actually knew what real happiness was. For the first time in years, I saw a light in my eyes. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel and had this feeling it could either be death waiting at the end of this path or a great life waiting for me. But I was walking on both sides at the same time. It wasn't easy for me to burn the refuge I had built to feel safe. It was hard and painful to abandon all my toxic friends, my unhealthy habits, and most importantly, to change my pessimistic ideology. But I chose to be brave. I didn't surrender and accepted pain as a healing journey, like alcohol on an open wound. I knew it was for the greater good, and soon it would be an insignificant memory of my life. Even if it took a really long time, even if I suffered and crawled on the ground to get out and cut all the ties to my past life, I was every day moving forward without looking back. I completely disconnected from social media. I stopped being available to people who didn't value who I was, people who saw me as someone I was not. I changed. And a few years later, I decided to come back to public life, to meet new people and create new opportunities for myself. I felt completely reborn. I discovered a strong willpower I wasn't even aware I could possess and was so happy of my life. I could literally feel the burning love I had for living life. But the reality check was brutal. You know, self-isolation is dangerous. When you start liking yourself alone, people start to feel like a threat to your own well-being. When I came back on social media, I felt sick watching posts and information gladly oversharing the suffering and hate on four sides of the world. I was too weak for the brutal reality of life. I quickly realized that the shell I built for myself when I was young was necessary for my own sanity. I needed it to survive. Being weak as an adult is hard. I had responsibilities on my shoulders. I needed to take care of myself and still have the courage to continue healing, to stay authentic, to stay kind and gentle, even to people who don't deserve it. So hard, in fact, that I was constantly rejected because I was authentic to myself and would not trade my values to be appreciated anymore. You know, when the global norm is to pet everyone the way they like it, not laughing at people's suffering, faking yourself to please others, or not taking part in conversations seem offensive to most people. Being a peaceful human who stays neutral, but can stand his ground and say out loud what he doesn't like about someone's attitude or beliefs, can raise all the red flags of fake people. You quickly become the villain in the story of their life, but you're not really. They just don't realize how bad they are. So every day became a war with myself, from how I talked to how I acted, no matter the situation, authority or influence pressure I could feel. I had to avoid conflict and unhealthy relationship not aligned with who I was and represent. But I wanted to help these people suffering so bad. I had to bite my tongue not to do it. There was too many people suffering around me. My savior syndrome kicked back, and I couldn't just ignore what was happening. Not only around me, but in the whole world. I wasn't at peace anymore, and my old habits came back naturally. The need to find a solution to this chaotic world returned in just a few months, and self-destruction came back slightly in my life as a remedy to avoid going insane, or worse, becoming like them. Every social group are built on the same structure, whether religious, spiritual, or political. All are governed in a similar way. We believe in something because there is a fragment of truth within it, though nothing is eternally true, and nothing is entirely false either. We develop a default mental structure during childhood. We imitate all the authority figures around us, the attitude of our family members, relatives, teachers, and other adults. We analyze how to please them, and how can we act more like them. This is how identity is created. Ideology acts like the polarity of a magnet, based on if new information support or contradict our default structure. We accept or reject them naturally. The more influence an authority figure has over us, the more we accept their sense of what is true or false. We become what we were taught instead of how we want to think, but it's necessary for survival. Usually we don't diverge too much from the way we were raised as children, because not everyone has the ability or mental strength to change their perception of themselves and the sense of the world they created for their own security and protection. Each person, in their own way, have a power to rewire their ideology based on the external influence they consume. And everyone can contribute to the foundation of their own existence. From one philosophy to another, two individuals could read the same material and interpret it in completely different ways, simply because their past experiences are not the same. The selection of informative element and the value we give to a word or object always varies from one person to another. The same way, language evolves and words don't have the same meaning for everyone. That's why ideology cannot truly be debated, as it is purely the external representation of what resides deep within a soul. Depending on our experiences and environment, we could support an idea and reject this same idea at different moments in our lives. Ideology change, morph, and take the shape of what we want to give it. As an artist who most of the time is misunderstood, I will give you my favorite reflection. It might be confusing, but it will make perfect sense if you try to understand. Bernard Werber once said, "Between what I think, what I want to say, what I believe I am saying, and what I actually say, what you want to hear, what you actually hear, what you think you understand, what you want to understand, and what you truly understand, there are at least 9 opportunities for us to fail to understand each other." This perfectly summarizes how a speech can be misinterpreted by the spectator, and how vocal exchange will always have an invisible barrier we can't really cross. Even someone describing their memories and emotions can never fully make another person feel exactly what they have lived through. Just as an ideology can never be transmitted exactly as it was originally expressed. In this world, nothing is entirely true or entirely false. If the information gathered right now contradicts the original affirmation previously established, would you say that somebody is wrong because they don't have the information you have right now? This is the paradox of life. Everything change and grow. Nothing stays still for eternity. Whether it change a little bit or transform into something else, everything is possible within the impossible paradox that is life. I think life is a mystery that doesn't need to be solved, but we can recognize some patterns that act as cycles. Individually, they are different, but on a larger scale, they are commonly similar to everyone. No matter where you are from, your skin color, or your social status, we all share the same blood. We are all humans. We are all equal in our different struggles. I think that the paradox of life is seeking an answer when we shouldn't have to question it. From the universe's secrets to whatever subject, they are all about external things we can't control. The problem with us humans is that we want to understand to gain a sense of control over the environment, instead of controlling ourselves and changing what we are internally. I accept I can't change anything outside of myself in my current situation, except myself. Because if the shadow follows the movements of my body, which itself follows my thoughts, I know that my perception of reality is the shadow of my thoughts. I need to be really careful of what I think, because it could become a reality I end up believing my whole life. Life may simply be a succession of events and obstacles, making us evolve and discover new states of being we must embrace as natural cycles of life. Some cycles of life are commonly known, like falling in love or grieving a lost one. We experience these cycles repeatedly during our life, sometimes without even noticing. During my life, I was stuck a lot of times in those cycles. I will explain to you my understanding of their mechanics. Imagine a triangle. It has 3 different sides. Together they represent the geometric form, but individually they don't have a form. They are just 3 points or 3 lines suspended in the void. A cycle is the same. One cycle consists of 3 different parts that complete each other to form a full cycle. Each part has its own role and utility. The first one would be the test or the discovery. The second would be the confirmation, and the third one would be the choice or the change. Cycles are fueled by our thoughts and actions. They are the projection of the narrative you created for your life story. From fear to doubt or success, they are everything you internalized about yourself. Cycles work as signs, distractions, and obstacles. The higher faith and confidence you have in yourself, the better your cycles will be. The lower they are, the worse they will become. Cycles are meant to repeat themselves in different forms until we are able to perceive them, understand their influence on our current life, and accept to change the way we choose to react to them. We will remain stuck in a cycle until we learn the lesson and apply it. When we break the cycle, we signal change and transformation to ourselves and give enough space for a new one to begin. The triangle we visualized becomes another shape as new experience and emotions comes in our life. Somehow, cycles act as a habit of time, and like every routine, in the beginning, it's noticeable and unnatural until it becomes a whole aspect of your identity that you can't detach yourself from without even noticing. Some people identify so much with failure or trauma, they end up spending their whole life in this state of stillness and blame the world for their lack of courage to overcome their low state of mind. Lots of people are not even aware that they create their reality by recycling their thoughts until, eventually, they become the only things they know and experience. The more you ignore what is going on externally in your life, the less these signs will become noticeable to your eyes. The more you are aware of what you want, the more these signs will be undeniable and meaningful to you. Cycles work as a bridge between your past, your present, and your future. How your life was in the past, how you want your life to become, and how your life is right now. What kind of cycle do you wish to live in? If you could choose one, which would it be? If you are not inside this dream reality, this dream life you seek, then start acting as if it were real. Is your friend, job, and daily habits reflecting your dream life fantasy? Or is there a divergence between what you seek and what you live every day? Don't forget that you are what you consume from food, substances, hobbies, music, movies, and online content. Never forget that, because it might shape you in ways you don't even think about. I started approaching life differently by acknowledging this perception of reality. I started living life as I was going to die the next day. Like each day was a new life, where nothing in the past could impact the mood I was feeling. Each day, waking up happy and grateful that I'm still alive, that I get a new chance to move a step closer to my dream reality. It's always hard to stop an habit, but it's easier to avoid starting it every single day. And if you have a moment of doubt, I can confidently say you made half the way to a better life. Every time you have a moment of doubt, a moment where you surprise yourself acting as someone you don't want to be anymore, ask yourself, is it what you want to be? If not, then erase this action off your daily persona and change by apologizing to yourself, but also to others. Be brave and don't be ashamed to change and become a person aligned with the you of your dream life. Each morning is like resetting a new life, so live it as you dream it. Do not begin by creating problems. Do not seek solutions. The only real solution is to stop thinking about it and simply live your life. Live your ideal life, even if it's hard and the whole world is against you. Seek clarity. Do not seek darkness. Seek to shine by yourself. Do not wait for the light. The entire world around us is a reflection of the world within us. Our body and soul remember and store experiences, sensations, and thoughts as a well-ordered library. If we aspire to change, we must also change what surrounds us. When the desire for change emerges, it always comes from a deep and distant place within our consciousness. It comes from the heart. It means accepting to apply ideas that do not immediately appeal to us. Change is a state of movement, a state of action. Stillness don't provoke change. It maintains our current state indefinitely. That's why order must be reversed. Using the well-known atomic habits to slightly adjust our routine won't provoke significant change in your life in short term. Imagine yourself being a tree. Making an effort to improve yourself is like watering only the branch and leaf. You will always be vulnerable, falling back into your previous situation of life, like a tree drying from the inside, while watering the soil and enriching it with new nutrient is more helpful to give the tree a new life. We can't change if we don't know how our environment shape us and what role we play inside. Become somebody you are not. Create a human being that has everything you want and start impersonating his identity. Only care about the mentality that goes with. Ignore the external resources and lifestyle that you don't have. Make decisions you would never do. Think like someone else and avoid being you. Magic happens when we are not paying attention to the trick, and your own self can be fooled by your actions. You may not like it, but at least you will start to understand what was good in your old life and what's not. Adopting a new attitude will completely disrupt the understanding we have of ourselves. It will teach us far more about our real nature and the complexity we are unaware of. When a habit is unpleasant, it pushes us to our limits, into discomfort, and into growth. It will reveal what we actually wish to change about our life. Habits must be broken to reveal their true colors. Then we can start adjusting them accordingly to our experience. Start fooling yourself daily until you become what you desire. Lead yourself forward with a stick and a carrot. Be the horse, the rider, and the bait at the same time. Your body is afraid. It's the horse. Your mind lacks control. It's the rider. Your soul is not motivated. Change the bait. It's not you. Individually, they are just one part of you. Like the cycle, who only become whole when completed. Find the balance between them all, and you will unlock your full potential. The greatest version of yourself is just waiting for you to reach a perfect balance of body, mind, and soul before unleashing its highest potential, one you couldn't even imagine in your wildest dream. I hope you enjoyed this artistic experience. I don't seek validation or wish to be understood, but I am grateful if my energy resonated with your soul. Thanks to everyone supporting my art expression by joining us in the Unknown Traveler Hub. Feel free to share your own experience in the comments. Exchanging thoughts and ideas expand our life perspective. It helps us challenge our mind and break our mental limitations. Our community is a safe place for everyone. We openly discuss about our own journey. The only rule is to respect everyone's opinion and not impose your ideology on others. Everyone approaches life differently, and no opinions are inferior or less interesting. A matured plant is no better than a seed. Only growth and time are separating them. Don't be afraid to ask questions or to need support. Someone will love to speak. Tell us your story and embrace who you are. Someone will love to hear. Look curiously. You could find a story that you relate to and deeply feel in your heart. It's all about love and light. Give energy and receive it back. Welcome to the Unknown Traveler Hub.